So here's the plan for today. I'll give you a few quick words about myself because I was running kind of LinkedIn, YouTube, and I was like also running a few paid ads for this workshop. I want to make sure that you guys understand why I am qualified to talk about these things, and I'm not like some random dude. I will then give you the demo to show what we are going to build so that you have a full understanding of the end result. Now, I'm risking a lot. I hope it works just because I have a lot of things going on. I have the YouTube, I have the agency, so I have multiple accounts, and I hope everything will go smooth. Then, this is a new addition to the workshop. I think this is one of the most important parts and one of the most interesting things. I will list a few problems that you can solve with this omnichannel agents, right? So these are the actual things that you can charge money for, or you can fix within your business for those who are like looking for integrating into your own company. Then we'll go over the theory, the overview, and the basics of the structure, how you should go and think about building these agents. Then there is a development, right? So to go over like each and every step in a nutshell. Then we'll demo the result that we built, and then we'll hop on the Q&A. Now, the last check-in, you can hear me all right? Everything is smooth, right? So send me yes in the chat so that I know that it's all good, and we'll start. Okay, awesome. So let's actually start with a few facts. I'm 26 years old. I run an AA agency. It's called Quimple. We are doing about $30,000 a month in revenue. Now, I want to be clear. This is not a profit, A, and B, this is the range between like usually it's 20 to 40,000 just because our model is designed on the one-time payments. This is just the nature of my content and the way I acquire clients. We get them from the different resources, from the cold outreach to the organic content. That's why the revenue fluctuates. I have 18 members right now in the team. We have 6 developers and 2 people on the management side. I've made in total about $400,000 selling different automations and agents. We built 50 plus ready solutions for the companies, but I communicated and worked with 200 plus companies around the world. The difference is because we built a lot of different pilots, prototypes, and the demos, especially when I was starting out and when I was not able to close them to actually sell the production version and then charge the high ticket, just because I was really trash at sales. I have 9,000 subscribers to YouTube channel. We're almost at about 10,000. I own 2 7-figure e-com brands. It's not relevant to this topic, but just so that you know, my background is the e-commerce. Before I went into the AI space, after I quit hockey, I started the online journey with e-com. It's actually a private label we've been selling on Amazon, Etsy, and Walmart. And I sold 2 companies. I still do own stake in 2 brands. We're selling on Etsy and Amazon FBA primarily. I've been traveling the world for 3 years. That's why I visited almost all the most popular traveling countries on the planet. And I was playing professional hockey with the Belarus national team, was also traveling, being in Canada, US. And this is why I moved to the US with a dream to play in NHL. Now, so that was the quick background. Now let's actually do the demo so that you can see what we're going to build. This demo will be based on the 3 main communication channels. Okay, so here's how it's gonna work. We have a form. Let's pretend, again, so this is not a real life scenario, like a real life case scenario. It's just a way to illustrate different functionalities that you can build on top of this omnichannel agents, right? So let's say that we have a form, and this form is just capturing some details, right? This could be the form that is embedded on the website. This could be the form that you're sending to your client. This could be a booking link. It doesn't really matter. So this is the trigger. The idea is that once someone fills out this information, we will run an automation, research the company based on the website that the user provided, right? To, let's say, pre-qualify the person. And then AI will send a first message. So let me actually show you how it's going to work. So let's say my name is James, or let's say Eugene. Okay, so let me say Eugene James. Okay. I have a just UK phone number as an example, and then we can use something like Normandy Insurance. This was one of our clients. We can use their website as a source, and let's say this is the company that is submitting this form. Okay. Now, so this form is submitted right now. What we're expecting an SMS that will say, "Hey, Eugene," and ask a very relevant question, which is personalized the same way as the human would. Again, this question will be probably generic because it's not like designed to like fix a specific problem, but you will understand how it works. We have a Just Call. Just Call is just a software that I use for, managing the phone calls within the company, especially when we're doing the cold outbound. So here we have just received a message, right? So if we open it up, so that was the message that is received on my phone number. As you can see, "Hi, it seems that you're offered workers' compensation, general liability compensation." So see this. So again, this is the company, right? What we did, AI analyzed the website, so scraped the website, it analyzed the content, and then it created the outreach message, right? Trying to ask a question. You can do anything, right? So this is the conversation starter, and this is what we call an engagement agent. Now, so let me ask something like, "Hey, whatever, do you sell cars?" Like some random things, okay? So some random things. And then I will, let's say, will list my account number, okay? "Do you sell cars? Here is my account number." And I will now explain why we're sending that. So pretend that this is the conversation between your agent and the prospect. The first thing that you probably already noticed that we sent multiple messages. And you will see that we will also receive multiple messages. This is why, guys, you're here, okay? I'm not teaching you how to build chatbots. I'm teaching you how to build the most human agents right now in the world. No one is actually doing that. Maybe there are a few people that no one knows about, but these are the types of the interactions that happen between human and human. So we send a few messages, right? So what's going to happen? It's going to answer that we don't obviously sell cars because this is not an agent that is programmed as the car dealership. And also it will save this account number in the memory. Okay. See, so, "Oh, my bad, I think might be confusion. I'm actually an AI assistant. I don't have access to the personal information, sell cars, whatever." Right? So now you will be able to, so let's see, let's just make sure that it got this info. You got my account, right? This is my account number. Here's the thing. What we're doing, we are on the back end saving the whole history, right, of the conversation in the contact details. So now I will make a call. Again, guys, I'm super excited just because it's very unique, and we've been selling it like crazy. When we show it to the clients, their brain stops working just because it's very unique. Now, so this is the number, right? So what's the number? The number is, it's ending on 8633, right? I will call this number from my phone. Okay, so we are getting the confusion, whatever. So it's replying with some messages. As you can see, there is some slashes. It's just the just call thing. It's don't worry about it. It's not happening in the actual SMS. But now I am going to call this number. So let's see what it's gonna do. So I'm calling this number. Wait, so I'm calling from my US number. Okay. Okay, this Brad. Okay, let me call it from my UK. So because I need to call from the same number, right? So I'm talking with our agent, and I'm also calling. Roger, how may I help you today? Hi, Roger. Can I get my billing information, please? To get your billing
Can you share those with me?
Yeah, so the full name is Jane Yudinkova, and I think you have my account number.
Thank you for billing information now, and it might take a few seconds. Hang tight. Your billing status shows that it's paid, Jane. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Now, you got it? We provided the account number on the SMS. It remembered this chat. And then once we actually called another agent, it's actually built on another software. Don't worry, I will go over everything. It said that like we just provided this, and again, so like it could technically parse like, and because we're actually saying that we're like James, it can reference us as James. It doesn't really matter, but I think you got the idea. It remembered our account number. Okay, so let me go even further. If we wait for a few seconds, if we go to the contact, this contact was created. So as you can see, it's Eugene James, right? With this, with the phone number that we sent an SMS from, as well as what we call it from. And in the custom fields, again, guys, don't worry, I will explain everything. So we have the chat history and we have the call history. It was updated. So now if I ask something like, okay, I need help, can you check my billing status again, please? Like again, so I hope that it works. But the idea is that it is going to provide us the billing status that we asked on the phone, because on the phone, agent provided us the billing status, right? And it was remembered in the conversation. And I forgot to mention that the Airtable is just acting like a placeholder. This could be anything. This could be like CRM, ERP, any like management software, right? So it's just connecting it through the APIs. So we will wait for this answer. And if it gives us the thing that it's paid, I think the demo is done and we will start the actual fun, and I will go over how it is done and how you can do the same thing. Okay. General stuff. I see that your previous follower is Roger before he confirmed that the billing is paid. Anyways, so first it says, see, because there is a confusion on the side because it's not programmed in the right, like in the way to handle like this specific business, just because like we got it randomly. But here it says that the billing is paid. Are we on the same page? Let me know, guys, in the comments. Have you ever seen anything like that? Okay, because like when I say that it's very unique, maybe I'm just not maybe I'm just not saw it anywhere. Okay, no. Great. So some people saw that. Great. I'm about to bus. Let's go. Pretty awesome. Okay. Anyway, so I'm happy that you like it, guys. So that was the actual demo. Let's now see what problems we can solve with this agent so that you can build your offerings around it and make like money, okay? Build an actual sustainable business selling these things. Because if you're the business owner, you probably already understand how it can be applied to the business. But if you're not, if you're looking to sell it up, this will help. Now, so basically these are the conversational agents in a box, and these are the things that we can like automate. As you can see below, I am providing a few videos that I was recording when I was illustrating a certain case studies. I'm one of the only guys in the space, and this is why I'm proud of, that shows real client results, real clients. Last video on my YouTube channel was literally the client sales call recording. No one does it. That's why you can go through the channel and find all of these use cases. Missed appointments and delays for healthcare industry. So patients often forget appointments and clinic overbook, leading to insufficient and revenue loss. High customer service wait times for e-commerce is pretty straightforward. Complex and delayed policy renewals. Customers find renewal insurance policies hard, often resulting in coverage lapses. Insurance. Spoiler, this is exactly what we built for Normandy, right? So I said that this is one of our, this is what we've been building for them, okay? Overbooked and poorly managed reservations. Hospitality business struggle with managing reservation efficiently, leading to overbooked and customer dissatisfaction. The last video on my YouTube channel, when I was doing the live sales recording, it was about that. Okay, this is the client that owns like pretty big network of food chain network, and it's like we're trying to solve the same thing. Difficulty troubleshooting technical issues. Consumer electronics. So usually customers struggle with resolving even simple technical problems, creating dissatisfaction with the products. So you can build this multi-channel agent, create a really good knowledge base that will behave and help the users to retrieve information from the technical documentation. Complicated loan application process, finance, the paperwork approval processes for loans are often tedious and discouraging for potential borrowers. Time-consuming employee onboarding for human resources. Language barrier in customer support. This is what I was actually explaining in this video. For it can be like anything human resources or any multinational, like multi-country business. So for example, something like a human resources or the travel agencies or agencies in general that communicates with people all around the world. So besides the time difference and the ability for this agent to actually handle inquiries like 24/7, it can also speak different languages. Okay, so before we continue, guys, I want to know, and again, so I'm like asking you because I'm really curious to understand like how to go further. What problems are you trying to solve? Because some of you said like selling both. So it's either you have specific problem or maybe you're not sure. And if you're not sure, like that's okay, let me know. But maybe you already have like some sort of a problem that you would want to solve with this type of the agent. I would love to hear that. That we're on the same page. Okay, so a lead nurturing. This is exactly what I was, for example, showing on the form, right? So because there's something like a trigger, right? So person comes into the pipeline, then you qualify and then nurture him further. Building an actual solution. I'm just here to learn at this point. That's interesting. Okay, guys. So I'm selling solutions for my clients, lead generation, nurturing alongside B2B outreach, onboarding a training path for employees. Okay. Now, so it feels like there were kind of different problems that you guys face. And I believe that most of the things besides the B2B outreach, just because this is like a separate topic, right? So that you need to build like an actual infrastructure. And these are the agents that are designed to handle inbound inquiries, or if you are doing the outbound that we did throughout the form that we submitted here, you need to have a proper trigger, okay? Now, let's go into the actual sauce on the behind the scenes of the agents. I don't want to spend too much time here, guys, because my goal for this workshop is to inspire you what can be built, right? And show you the real problems that can be solved with this agent. And two, also explain and give you the roadmap on how you can build it yourself, what software to use, what you need to know, and then how much it's actually going to cost, okay? That's why it's very important for you to understand the behind the scenes and the background, like the actual context of how the agents are built. Again, so I'm not going to spend too much time here. So if you know these things, don't worry. So in a few minutes, we'll go into the actual development. So the agents could be either single prompt or multi-path. So the single prompts agents, this is what the majority of the market right now built and actually, to be honest, needs, right? So for example, if we have like 100 businesses that are looking to build an agents that will communicate with their customers in one way or another, 60% of them can really do and follow this specific like workflow. You would build something like, you would get something like a chat base, you would have a single prompt with a simple guidelines, basic knowledge base, you'll connect it to one channel and you're good to go. So when the user asks the question, this question goes to this agent process this, utterance, then you provide a response and then there is a loop, okay? The thing is that even though this is the majority of the market, I believe that this is not why you guys are here, because the space is going to be commoditized a lot, like in the next few months, and you really want to build something unique, and either you need to have a very specific offer for a very specific market, or you need to have a productized thing that you can deploy easily to multiple different businesses. Okay, and this is what we are actually doing, and this is what I'm going to explain next. But the multi-step agents are a bit different because these are the agents, so deep conversational agents that mimic human behavior and reply based on guidelines and well-structured RAG knowledge base. When I say mimic human behavior, this is what I mean. If I would do the screenshot of this live chat, you would like it's very hard to understand that this is not a human because it's actually replying and receiving multiple messages, right? So it's human-like. Plus, if you add the accuracy of the responses from the knowledge base, now you plus the actual unified memory between multiple channels, you have almost 100% human type of the interactions. And here's how we built this 3, 5, 10, $15,000 agents. Okay, this is what you need to know. Every agent is made out of the 3 main things. Guys, I know that this is the theory. Maybe you don't like it too much, like in the school, but you need to know that if you don't need it, like, okay, like go and build these simple things. But if you want to build something in depth, you need to understand this structure. We have the brain. We called it brain. So the brain is where the knowledge base is built, where you set the bot persona, where you have different sub-agents for different tasks, where you have engagement prompts, where you specify how to engage with the user and what information to capture. And then you also have integrations, right? So connections to ERPs, CRMs, software tools, right? So this is the brain, okay? We also have a memory. Now, the memory, guys, is a separate entity. It's like a separate thing, just because usually in 99% of the cases right now, the memory is integrated within your workflow, right? Within the tool, but we need it separately because we might have multiple agents talking through multiple channels, and we need to have a unified memory to create a real conversational experience the same way as the human would talk with the prospect through multiple channels. And then we have the interface. So this is where we built all the connections to Instagram, WhatsApp, live chat, SMS, email. We have one Unibox where you manage all the conversations, or you give it to your client to manage everything. We have the dashboard and we have the pipeline to manage everything. Okay, you got it. Remember, brain, memory, interface. So, and this is the pipeline. So next we'll go into the tools. Okay, don't worry. So I'll explain what tools you need to use, and then we'll actually go through these tools so that you understand how everything is built. Here's the pipeline. User sends a message or makes the call. Okay, this thing goes through the interface, right? So both of them are combined into one specific source, right? In this source is the interface. Now we are doing utterance processing. So in case of the text channel, we're getting multiple user messages, we're grouping them together, right? And then we're trying to generate the reply based on this whole chunk of messages and not just one message. Then we are connecting to either text agent brain or voice agent brain. Now, there are right now tools that can handle both voice and text, where you can build text agents and you can build voice agents. And I'll mention them below. But usually, and this is what we still do, just because they are not that yet, there are best tools for the text-based agents and there are best tools for the voice-based agents. So you usually will have multiple tools, like Voiceflow VAPI or like N8N and retail, right? So you'll have multiple tools, and you need to connect both of these agents to one unified memory that will store everything. Then we do the humanization, right? So for example, chunking down the response into multiple parts and send them as like multiple messages. Then we're also back connecting to the interface, and then we're providing the response, right? And then it's basically the loop, okay? So now let's go over the tools. This is one of the most interesting things, I'm sure, for most of you guys. Now, I here will give you, I want to say the best tools, okay? But when I say, every time when I say the best tools right now on the market, I get like tons of different hate comments, people defending each and every tool. Okay, I get it. Okay, what I'm saying is that it's better to say the tools that we use and that we've been like using to sell the solutions for multiple four figures. Okay, the brain, the interface, and the memory. The brain. Voiceflow. The Voiceflow is the most advanced tool when it comes to text-based agents, right? This is just my opinion. I'm not affiliated with them. I do have close relationships with the team, but there are a few alternatives, but they're like actually built to create production-ready softwares, and the n8n. So all of them, like both of them, so this is kind of the brain. The brain builds on top of the Voiceflow and the n8n, and powered usually by ChatGPT 4.0 or 4.0 Mini. You can easily replace n8n with Make. If you are trying to build, and this is like, again, if you've been in the space for like at least a few months, you see how people are shilling n8n for everything. Again, so there are some goods and bads, ins and outs for n8n. If you want to build what I'm showing you here, you don't need to like learn n8n. Okay, you don't need it. You can easily replace it with Make. Now, so you can technically replace with Voiceflow with BotPress. You can then replace it with DeFi or Vector Shift. So these are all pretty solid choices. I'm telling you that you will not be able to build everything as robust as we're doing, but you can, try. If you have like your own tool that you like, you can easily try to replace it with whatever you want, because this is the wireframe. Now the interface. Interface is built on the OnePrompt. OnePrompt is my own software suite. Okay, this is where everything comes together. Basically, the OnePrompt is a white labeled version of high level chat dash, as well as has multiple custom built workflows that we already created, right, to help you to deploy everything faster. So this is like a suite of all these things. And again, so I'm telling you about OnePrompt just because it's this. So it's the software that you can get access to, and I'll explain it at the end of the workshop. So it's public. It's not like our own software and like showing you something that you cannot use. Okay, it's the same software as Voiceflow or n8n. Now, but you can, if you, for example, don't want to use like our software for some reason, you can use high level by itself, because we are white label and high level, but you're losing, okay, so the chat dash and custom workflows. You can try to use chat dash, you can try to use Tixi. These are the interfaces that are built, right, to, for example, to connect to Voiceflow, to BotPress, to n8n or Vector Shift. But again, so you're missing some things. You can technically build the thing on the HubSpot or using the custom interface. Now, you can do that. You can probably do it in the Salesforce. I will give you the basics, and I'm giving you the basics of how everything is structured, so you can apply to any software that you use. But if you want to, shortcut this like development of like multi-weeks, month type of the thing, so everything has been already built on OnePrompt. And the memory. Now, so the memory is built using two softwares, so the OnePrompt and the Voiceflow. So the Voiceflow is the software that we are using for the text. For the voice, we're using Retail. By the way, I'm not sure why it's not listed here. So the Retail is the software that we're using for the voice agents. Now, again, guys, keep in mind, if you're not using Retail, if you're using Vapi, if you're using Synthflow, if you're using whatever, if they have a basic features that I will list further, you will be able to replace it easily, right? But the memory is built on the Voiceflow, because when people chat through the SMS, WhatsApp, Instagram, live chat, everything is stored on Voiceflow and also inside OnePrompt. So we have a customer details, and inside this customer details, we're saving all the transcripts from the conversations, as well as all the transcripts from the text-based, so we're saving transcript for the calls and transcript for the chats, and everything comes together. And every time user sends a message, this custom fields are preloaded. Again, don't worry, like I will go over the details just to make it easier for you, but you can technically use PostgreSQL if you're like technical. You can use Supabase. So technically you can build the actual memory on the Supabase, and maybe you would want to build it on HubSpot and connect it to Supabase somehow, whatever. So it's up to you. You can build it if you apply the same logic, or you can build something unique with just the custom field logic that I'm gonna explain later. Okay, guys. So let me drink some water. And now we will go into the actual development. Now, so the development might take like a few hours, okay? So you don't have that much time. That's why I will briefly go over each and every step, right? The knowledge base, persona, engagement, sub-agents, integrations, voice workflows, connections, and unique utterance processing. So I will go over everything so that you can replicate based on the software that you're using or based on the general logic that you want to follow through. Okay. Now, so the knowledge base. When you are, so let's say we're going into the Voiceflow, we can create a new agent. We'll say the workshop. Okay. And we'll create a new project. When you are building a knowledge base, you need to keep in mind that there are a few kind of ways on how you can do that. Voiceflow, for example, has a separate tab for the knowledge base, and you can literally go here. And if you go to, for example, the same Normandy Insurance, if you come here and take this link, you just go here, you input the link, you import it, it's done. But it's not how the production things work. You need to structure it properly, especially if you are using and working with sensitive data where each error is unacceptable, right? So you need to properly structure it. The way we do that is if we are parsing, for example, the website, we're using this service like Firecrawl. The Firecrawl is just the scraper that scrapes the, the website here, and it formats this website in the Markdown or JSON or any format that is understandable for the AI, right? As you can see, it's scraping, and then it will result in the actual Markdown text that you can copy and paste to the knowledge base. Okay, let's give it a sec to run while we're waiting. But this is like basically this is how you would do it through the website. But what if you have the PDF documents? And this is like a very popular use case when you are like from the clients, you have a technical documentation, or you maybe have brochures, maybe you have some sort of product details that are structured in a docs. You would use a separate service like Llama Cloud. Again, I'm not like affiliated with any of them, so let me actually turn on the VPN quickly, just because it's okay. Now, so if I go to the Llama Cloud here, I hope you. Anyway, so I need to log in, and then I need to provide my details. I hope I don't. Let me actually quickly log in. Hope it's not going to ask for it. Okay, so here we got the details from the Firecrawl, right? So we see, as you can see, it scraped the same exact information that we have here. So we provided this URL to the Voiceflow knowledge base, and it just scraped it in a super bulk and random chunk of text. But here, this text is structured, as you can see, properly in the Markdown format, and we can just copy it, go here, and plain text, import it, and it's done, right? This is how you actually structure the knowledge base based on the website. But you can use Firecrawl if you have the documents. You can go to parse. You can upload the document here, right? And then you have a lot of different options on, if you enable the advanced, you have the way how you would want to parse it. If you have different layouts, if you have like sub tables within the document, this is one of the best tools that you can use, right? Now, I think it's pretty straightforward. I don't want to spend too much time here. Again, keep in mind that if you are building the production version, you want to structure the knowledge base correctly. You can use Firecrawl if you're scraping the websites, and you can use Llama Cloud if you are trying to scrape the PDF or docs, right? Now, so this is done. Let's actually go and create the bot from scratch, starting with the bot persona. I'm not sure how, guys, you are familiar with the Voiceflow. This is because like I could probably do a 5-hour long tutorial, and we actually have a multiple courses on the Voiceflow itself. But basically here, you would do the message block, right? So, and you would say, hey, how are you doing? Okay, that's it. Then you would capture the user reply, for example, here. And now you're like asking the question, and then you're waiting for the reply. The thing is that what you would want to do is you want to set up a bot persona. Now, the bot persona is where you explain how the bot should behave, right? And how it should react. So what you can do is you can, set up the variable and call it like a bot persona, right? Bot persona. And then you can do like anything. If we go to one of our like projects and the templates that you can get access to, This is, for example, how we're setting the bot persona. You can see that bot persona, hey, I'm Eugene, both the CEO of the one prompt and the Quimple, my style of speech, how I talk. So this is the bot that was talking to us using SMS, right? So remember here, it was doing, oh, my bad, yeah, gotcha, gotta be straight. So it was using slang words. And if you want to do that, you would actually need to specify what type of the words to use to then kind of give AI an idea of how to do certain things. Now, so if we can just copy it and we can paste the value here. Now we're just gonna ask, hi, how are you? And what it's gonna do, if we run this test, it's gonna set the bot persona and then ask us, hi, how are you? Okay, so pretty straightforward. Now let's go to the engagement prompt. So the bot persona is done, RAG knowledge base is done. So the engagement prompt is where we are, this is like where the magic happens. This is where you actually engage with the user based on the information that they provide to you. The Voiceflow has the thing called prompts, right? So you can connect the prompt here and you can create a new prompt. You can specify that it's the engagement prompt, okay? And here in the system, you would reference the bot persona, which is the variable. And this is where you specify, okay, you need to reply to the user question. Okay, and here is the last user utterance. Okay, now this is basically it. You would specify the actual, model. For example, you would crank up the talking usage, and that's it. This is very important, right? So this is where you build the actual logic. So if we go to one of our like real projects, if we go to this specific prompt, you can see that it's a big one, right? So it is properly structured in the Markdown format. It has a separate sections where you specify the rules, where you specify the goals, where you specify the information that you would want the bot to capture, okay? And basically now, if you go here, right, so there's an engagement prompt, so we're going to provide the reply to the user. Then we are going to capture the user reply entirely. Okay. Again, guys, I'm sorry that I'm going into the details, into the very basics. In a few minutes, we'll go into the advanced stuff on how to actually deploy, build more complex things. I just want you to like be aware for those who are like very new to understand like even the basic things on how it's structured. So now we are looping this, as you can see, right? So what we're doing is once we are receiving, so when we, for example, hi, how are you? If we say, hi, my name is Eugene, okay, it will engage with us. It's gonna wait for a reply. I like apples. Anyways, now, so we're like, basically, that's it. Like, we're done, okay? So we are done, but this is the basic structure of any agent that you will use, okay? Now, the difficult part is to create the sub-agents and the integrations, right, to other tools. This is not a coding lesson. I'm not going to go over like how to like code certain things. The Voiceflow recently added what they call a agent step. Basically, if you ever used N8N, you know that they have agent steps, right? So they have the agent that identify what tools to run dynamically. This is very similar. So now this is, for example, an agent that has, the instructions on what to do, and it has multiple functions. And the functions are basically the tools. Guys, don't worry. So you will get access. So after the workshop, you will get access to all of these things so that you can actually, also play around with it through the one prompt. But basically, this is the agent, right? So that we are setting up a goal to naturally book users, right? So the goal for this agent to book calls inside our calendar. But in order to do that, we need to provide different functions or the tools. And these are, for example, the different functions that we're using. So if we run this agent, the difference between, for example, the workflow that we have just built, as you can see, it's multi-step. It's trying to go through each and every step one by one. But here, it's just looping us inside. We can say, hi, I want to book an appointment. So see, there's a blue kind of overview here. So it's saying, okay, what is the location? We can say I am in New York. The location is needed because we need to access the time zone of the user. So let's say if there's a business that operates with different countries, or if there is a business that needs, for example, like that operates within the US because it has the multiple time zones. So can you tell me about your security needs? Are you looking for, I am looking for business consultation, okay? And now it will ask us to provide, schedule this, do you have a specific date, okay? So let's go to my calendar. This is directly, so this agent, it has multiple functions. It's directly connected to one prompt, right? So let's say that we will display a few, so this is like, for example, my calendar, one of my calendars. And let's say that I will try to book something for 8th Tuesday, and this is the local time, and it would be the 1 p.m. So if I say, how about April 8th at what? At 1 p.m. Now, this is also very unique to our specific build. It is checking the time zone, right? And it's doing the conversion dynamically because we are so it's not checking this, for example, 1 p.m. This 1 p.m. is empty, but it's checking 1 p.m. based on my time zone because I said that I'm in New York, right? So would you like to see alternative time dates? Okay, so let's say, let's look for, and in the new, because I have this calendar here, so let's look at 12 p.m. Okay. Let's do 12 p.m. Okay. Wait for a second because I got a couple of slots available for applet 12. Which one works? Let's do 12 p.m. And here it should say that it's available. Let's see. Great choice. Your consultation is booked through this thing. Okay. So now if we go into the calendar, technically it should be booked. As you can see here, it was booked. So this conversation has been booked. And then we can also reschedule it. Now, I am showing you this not to teach how it's done, okay? Because it's kind of a complex system. What I'm saying is that you need to think agentic. And because of this new step, everything is done into one block. You just create different functions. For example, there's a get available slots or create a content, or like, for example, get the contact. And for the get the contact, we have the API key and the query. And we are describing LLM when to use this function. So for example, use this function to find the context through the email or other query. So we're connecting it to the one prompt and we're accessing the information from the one prompt to then book the actual call here, okay? Now, so this is how you can build like kind of multi-step workflows, because the sub agents are like a very new thing to Voiceflow, and you can also use them for intent classification. So let's say that your agent has multiple intents, like products, inquiries, bookings, account details, or maybe transferring to human. What you can do here is, for example, if you say something like, hi, how are you doing? See, it's looping us here in one step. It's not sending us anywhere. But then if we say booking, I want to check or I want to book an appointment. Okay. So now it will actually go to this agent that we were just discussing. Anyways, guys, so I don't want to spend too much time here. I just show you how you can build the RAG knowledge base, which is your, your main thing. Then you set up the bot persona, then you do the engagement prompts on how you want the bot to behave. Then let's say you want to have sub-agents that connect to different softwares. And then you actually do the integrations. And the integrations are built the same thing. You can like obviously use the API steps, right? So here you can use the function steps here. You can use anything, but guys, so I'm not like explaining like specifically the Voiceflow. I'm just like giving you the logic. I'm saying that you should use Voiceflow because it's the most flexible software, but you can try to use any other. So you can, access the information from any of your resources through the APIs, or you can just use the functions through the agent step, and also write the function if you know how to code, or if you know how to use the Claude, and then help with like these details. Now, for example, if you're getting into the one prompt, you're getting like all of these functions that already are connected to the one prompt, so it's like easier for you. Now, let's now talk about the voice briefly. What we have been like when we were like discussing, and when I've been showing you the demo, I have been using the retail, and in the retail, it was the workflow. So it's their workflow builder, because you can build voice agent differently. You can have one prompt, because you just specify the different tools to run, or you can use something like the Voiceflow, right? So where you can build the actual conversational logic, but through text. It's like, again, so I don't want to spend too much time here. So it's the greeting. It says like, hey, I'm Roger from Normandy. And then when we said, I want to get my billing information, it jumped here, and then it was running the billing function, right? So there is a function built in retail that is connected to Airtable that was getting this information. But so the most important thing, which is unique, right? Which you will not be able to find anywhere, is the ability before the call to access information about this prospect. And you can use it differently because, for example, the retail recently introduced their webhook steps, right? I think it's another page. Anyways, so, or you can so for example, when the conversation begins, what we've been doing, we have been running this function to connect to one prompt. So what it was doing, so remember this contact, okay? So remember Eugene James. So what it was doing, it was accessing these custom fields that have the chat history from the Voiceflow, okay? And it was pre-uploading this chat history into this retail agent. That's why when I said you have my details, it actually did and had these details. So the only way to do that is, again, doesn't matter what software to use. You can ask their support, or you can ask them in Q&A section if it's possible to use with X and Y software. I'll be able to help. But the idea is that not all like voice AI platforms allow you before the call, before the first message is hit, to access, to make an API call and get a result back. Okay, and this is why this is partially a reason why we're using retail, besides the fact that they have a really good workflows and the VAPI is still kind of developing. Now, let's go into actually connections. What I want us to do, I want us right now to create an agent for WhatsApp in 3 minutes. Okay, so here's how we would do that. Now, we have, because we could technically use the agent that we have here, right? So we would just deploy it, and we can actually do that. Or actually, I think it's going to be better if we visualize it on the actual real template. So this is a master template, what we call, that you get within the one prompt. And for example, this template was connected to SMS, right? Because we've been talking with this agent through SMS. So now let's see how you can do that, the same thing on WhatsApp. So what you would do is let me close all these windows. So you would go to the automations, right? Again, so the one prompt is built on top of the high level. You can build yourself, if you don't want to get access to one prompt, you can build yourself this thing with a high level. Okay, I'm just telling you this because I don't want to show you only something that you can only get with, no, you can build it yourself. It's just going to take 2 months. Now, so if you, for example, go to the omnichannel agent and you'll have the text. So here we have multiple subflows. I don't and will not go over each and every flow because it will take another an hour, and I don't want to spend too much of your time. I want to rather finish it up and start answering your questions. But in a nutshell, what we're doing here, we're doing two things. When the message is received, we're processing the reply and grouping it together. So I said that we want to connect it to WhatsApp, right? So we have a trigger. And let's say this trigger is the SMS. So let me change it to WhatsApp. Save, save. Basically, you don't need to change anything here. Okay, it's all good. Then you go here and whatever. So what we're doing, we're generating the reply in Voiceflow through APIs. You don't need to change anything here besides changing your basically like API key here, right? So you can go and you launch the Voiceflow agent. You just change the API key here and you're good to go. But again, so what you do is, see, we are sending an SMS. So instead of the SMS, we would just send the WhatsApp. Okay, so we'll put the WhatsApp. So it will take some time. So we'll choose the default number, for example. We'll use the none. And for the input, we will use the information. Response is called response 1. Again, now good. So then I will delete the SMS here. And we need to do the same thing 5 times. Why? Because, again, look closely. We're not sending one message. We're sending multiple messages. So these are separate messages. That's why we literally need to send like 1, 2, 3, 4 messages. Okay. So bear with me for 10 seconds. I will finalize this thing and it will be ready to go. So response 2, save. Okay. Delete SMS. So delete SMS here. Delete, delete, delete. And then we will just duplicate it one more time. Here, WhatsApp. We replace it here. We're ready to go, okay? Now, so I have a new WhatsApp number, right? So that I never talked to my agent before. Now I'm gonna save. So what we did, again, that's why I said we're gonna do it in 3 minutes. So what I did, I literally just replaced the trigger. So in the trigger, as you can see, SMS. So let's name it WhatsApp. So the trigger is WhatsApp. It's doing the processing, and I'll explain what it does. And then we just changed the SMS from SMS to WhatsApp, and we're good to go. Now we have this WhatsApp. Okay, this is my WhatsApp. So let me write to the one prompt. So number one prompt. Now, so this is the WhatsApp. Okay, let me go here and say, hello, my name is Eugene. Do you sell any used cars? Okay, it is going to do the same exact thing that it did on the SMS, right? It's going to trigger this flow first, and we can actually see it. If we go to the enrollment history, we can actually see that, as you can see, Eugene Katzen is just found my contact from the from the one prompt, because I probably had it in the contacts. So we have this, right? So, and we can follow, we can actually see how everything was generated. As you can see here, we are just, so we have 2 inputs. So we're now generating the reply in Voiceflow. Okay. So if we update it, okay, we just got the message. Hey, Eugene, nice to meet you. Actually, Eugene 2, well, an AI version of CEO 1 prompt. Well, bro, but to answer it now, we don't have cars. See, it's the same thing. Now, if you tell me, hey, Eugene, but now can we ask it a question about the account number that we were asking about SMS? In this specific case, no, because it's matching the contact based on the number, right? So contact, right? So here, as you can see, there's a Eugene Katzen, there's like phone number, right? We don't have an email, but this is, so we had Eugene James and we have Eugene Katzen. These are 2 separate contacts. You can build, and we actually have one workflow within the one prompt that matches it together if you need it. But usually people will have, like, for example, one number that they have registered on the WhatsApp, one number registered on the SMS, and also they will call from this number. Now, let's say, see, there's no email. Here is how it updates the information on the backend. So let's say I'll say, okay, so my email is eugenewebinar1@gmail.com. Can you please save it somewhere? I would appreciate that. Now, if we go to our Voiceflow, again, this is a bit tricky. Don't want to go too much into the details, but the idea is that after each and every response that the agent provides, we're checking the memory and seeing what information we have and the user provided about him, right? So basically, the user provided the name, and now it provided the email, okay? And once this information is provided, this is dynamically updated in the one prompt. This is very powerful. This is overpowered feature because you can capture anything. So for example, if you are building a scenario and you really need to capture an account number, if you need to capture a service that the client is interested in on the agent side, and you do not, see here, and you do not, for example, like if we go to the contact details, you do not want to go to the custom fields. You do not want to review the transcript. You just want to have, okay, so what this customer is like, what's his email, what's his phone number, what's his like information. If we would have more time, I would show you that if I don't have this email, but if I would send an email from this email to my work email that is connected to one prompt, it's also gonna match. Anyways, so I think you got the idea, right? So it has the unified memory between all of the different channels. And the way I want to give you, like explain how it's done. And the way it's doing that is through the custom fields. As you can see, we have a lot of different custom fields. And here we have the chat history, which is the history from, see, from the Voiceflow. This is the history from the Voiceflow. And call history. So if I would call from this number, like right, not on the WhatsApp, on the actual, it would save this call history here. And this contact will have all the custom fields. That's why, guys, I told you that you can replicate the same system into any type of the CRM. To like, again, I'm like saying that, but I don't build, like, I never seen that anyone replicated on Pipedrive or, you know, whatever, so close or like, because the high level has the power of automations. And again, so all automations that you need to use for this Omni agent has been already built in. So again, I'm just like trying to give you an understanding. The last thing that I want to talk about is the interface, and then we will, guys, jump into your questions, okay? You can start posting your questions in the Q&A, so it's 5-7 minutes, and we're gonna good to go. Now, so what we did, I think by that time, you understand how to build a knowledge base, bot persona, engagement prompts, sub-agents, integrations to any tool, then the voice channel, connections to widget, WhatsApp, Instagram, SMS, email, pretty easy. Humanizing part, and then the interface. Now, for the interface, you have a few options, right? So for example, if you're using one prompt, you have a dashboard. So let's say you're creating a sub account. This is what we do. So when we're like building this thing for the client, so we create a sub account within our like own software. Okay. So then we can see how many conversations have been started, how many live chat, how many WhatsApp, how many Instagram. And this is pretty configurable, right? So if you ever like use like widgets within the dashboard, so you can create any widget. And we also have a pipeline, right? So for example, the pipeline is usually used when we're doing the outbound. So to understand, okay, so how many conversation has been landed, and like if we're, for example, because one prompt has like multiple solutions, I will explain what it is. But basically here, if we go to the omnichannel agent, we have the same thing that we saw on the dashboard. So we have WhatsApp, SMS, live chat, and the email. So we have all the conversations, and you can manage like it's just a standard pipeline, right? So, or the inbound voice AI, right? So here you have all the calls, for example, all the billing requests, all the service requests, all the requests where people were looking to book an appointment, multiple intents, and so on. Now, so this is one option of the interface. And let's say if you are trying to deploy a chatbot on the website, you can do that internally through the one prompt or through the, again, so high level, it has the chat widget. So you'll go to the chat widget, you'll create one, and then you can just set it up. But you also have what we call advanced chat. See, there's like a widget, because this is not the widget, because we inside our own software we have 24/7 live support for like all of you guys and your clients, so you can fix any problems. But like, see, it's behind, it's just overlapping a bit. So we have it's just a standard widget, right? It's standard. But what if you want to have a bit more stats, or you want to have like a better interface, or you want to have more advanced widget? We have an advanced chat. This is a direct integration within the one prompt, right? So you obviously don't have it within high level. So if you log in here, right? So what you will be able to access is a separate, I'm not sure why it's loading. My internet is dying for some reason. Let me reload it. So it's like an interface within the interface where you can manage the conversations and where you can deploy the bots through the advanced actual widgets. Okay, so let me see why it's reloading, probably with my VPN or something. Okay, so advanced chat, please reload. Okay, sorry guys. Now it's loaded. So what we can do, for example, we can just create a chatbot, right? So let's say this is our chatbot. We can just go ahead. We can just create an API key, copy this API key, come here, add chatbot. And by the way, so you're not only limited. That's why I was like saying that you're not only limited to the Voiceflow if you're using any third-party platform. Again, something wrong. Okay, and go back. Please don't disconnect. Your internet connection is unstable, it's saying. Well, great news for the workshop. Now, so what we can do again, so add the chatbot. See, we can connect even the custom GPT on the OpenAI vector shift. So we are connected here. We're gonna create the chatbot name, right? So API key and the project ID. You're done. So let's say this is our chatbot. You'll create a client. So again, so each client will have a separate dashboard, and then once you log in to this client, oh my god, why it's doing that? Anyway, guys, so please, while we're like doing this thing for some reason, can you please start posting the questions in your comments? I see that you have like people are posting here again. So not in the comments, in the Q&A section. I'll go over everything. Just the last try. I'm not sure why this is happening. It's usually not the case. Okay, so if we go to the clients, please. Okay, so here, see, we have a separate dashboard. So this is the dashboard within the one prompt. And if you like, for example, you would do it like 90 days, you can see, okay, so how many incoming messages has been done, how many total conversations has been done. You can also manage the conversations here. And I know that it might be confusing because, hey, Eugene, you have conversations here and you have conversations here. You can disable it. What I'm saying, and this is your option to deploy widgets. See, widgets which are a bit more advanced. So this is how they look. Basically, this is the chat dash, right? So this is the white label version of chat dash. You do not need to pay for it separately, and you can see this awesome widgets. You can say hi, and you can like customize everything. You can create the the layout as the intercom. You can have the conversation messages, all these things. Now, guys, so yeah, that was kind of the whole overview of everything that I was about to that I wanted to tell you on how to build omnichannel agents. Now, wow, guys, so I am actually sweating. I'm sorry. 57 people here, 30 questions in the Q&A. So let's jump straight into it. What do you think about the new GHL AI agent? I think, again, so if we were like going back, this is the single prompt. I think most companies actually will use something like that, right? So I'm not trying to say that you need to use this complex system that we have already built. What I'm saying is that you will not be able to sell this thing for like multiple four figures or even build a sustainable business, because any business can do it themselves. So you need to find a leverage, right? So you need to find an offer. You need to fix problems, okay? Is the number the same that the chatbot is SMS from? Yes. To add to this, the number you called was the same number as they were receiving the SMS. Yes, correct. You can technically, again, so there is a match. So what we did in this update, if the name match, if the phone number match, or if the email match. So if there are like, if the call is happening through multiple phone numbers, but the user within the conversation provides any of the data points, it will match it dynamically and then understand, like, pull over all the memory. How do I pitch the infrastructure to the leads? What would be the opener? Again, so let me answer technical questions now. What's the cost of this infrastructure? I mean, depending on like what you're like referring as the cost, because technically, if you're like, again, you would need to consider the one prompt that you're paying, for example, $79 for. You can go from like $100 to $300 a month, depending, right? So depending on the volume, because for example, the Voiceflow, you can like use the lowest plan on the Voiceflow if you're planning to use the retail or the VAPI. It really depends on the token usage and the amount of volume, but I would say you need to plan your margins within so to be doubled, and that's why I always kind of suggest people to sell the things to the retailer for at least like $500, $600, $800 a month to the local businesses that are smaller, and then bigger businesses you would charge more. Do you do entire conversation length? Go back in the input talking and eat some content length, increase cost of usage in time. Yeah, sure. So it does increase the usage, like, of course. But again, so right now it's not a big deal because we are like charging monthly a retailer, and we're like putting the cost, so we're like transferring the cost from us to the actual people, right? So to the actual businesses. That's why it's not that big of a concern for us. But if you're like if you're processing thousands of calls, because like text is talking, it's like you would, it's not much, but for the calls it's a bit different. Cold calling two-step through other channels like WhatsApp? No, it cannot do the cold calling through the WhatsApp, and I would generally not suggest you guys to use the cold calling through the AI. But you remember when someone filled out the form, we send an SMS. You can do the call. You can literally do the same thing. So you can do the call and say, hey, Eugene, so that you filled out the form, does Normandy is looking for an AI solution right now? See, this is already personalized, and this is AI, is the voice AI. So, and now will also have the unified memory. Could I train the brain with technical documentation as well as it can loop in technical answers? Yeah, of course, man. So like, this is the whole point. You can do anything. That's why I was like shilling the Voiceflow. And so if you're like getting, for example, the one prompt, you get the Voiceflow master template that you can build on top of. You would just upload your documentation in your knowledge base. Please make sure it is structured properly and you're good to go. Could I train the brain? Which open source alternative could I use to build your solution? Okay, Phil, so this is a very good question. Now, I've been getting a bit of a hate when it comes to the open source because I never kind of mentioned the open source. And we were like actually using N8N not because it's open source. Even though we did develop probably 3 or 4 at this point solutions within the N8N that were self-hosted for a few reasons, but this is not usually the case. I do not believe that you need to overcomplicate things if you don't need to. So my take is only do the open source, please, if you need it. If you don't, N8N, see, it depends. Like you would not build, like N8N is not built for the conversational flows. You can connect it to the one prompt, but DeFi, Stack AI, but I'm not sure if Stack AI is self-hosted on the enterprise plan. Yeah. So can we integrate the solution on WordPress? Are you like saying deploying the widget? Of course, through either one prompt directly or through the advanced chat. Can we integrate this? Can you share the prompt with us? Not sure which one. Is one prompt like high-level app? Can you just break down how exactly different from high-level chat dash are working? Yeah, okay, thanks. Why you use Voiceflow and not init for the agents? I have seen there you can build a robust rack with, yeah, sure. So man, like, understand, you can build pretty, like, it's not a problem with the rack. Like, it is the NNN is really good on the agent side. We are trying to build human conversations, and you need to have full control over each and every step. Because, for example, like, look at the conversation that I was showing you before, right? So if you want to do the chunking, like, this is the most simple answer. If you want to use like this multiple steps, like ask multiple questions and respond with multiple questions, like returns back, you're not. There is actually one way to use it with NNN. It's so hard. Like, I'm probably gonna do the tutorial in like, it's if you're not a developer, it's because you need to do the matching on the Postgres side through the memory. Like, it's a mess. Okay, so this is one thing. The second thing is APIs and how flexible the Voiceflow is to connect it to one prompt. So that's like, I hope this partially answers your question. Why not use Voiceflow for voice agents? No, yeah, great question. So Olivier, I'm actually, as I said, like, I'm like actively talking to the Voiceflow, and they were like actually interviewing me why like I'm not using the Voiceflow voice. It's not there yet. Like, the honest answer, it's not there yet. So the delay is a bit worse than retail. They just added recently, like literally 2 days ago, Daniel like sent me a message when they added the post-call webhook, because after each call, we need to pass the transcript and we need to trigger some workflows within one prompt. And you're not able to do that. Like, so it's not really usable. But now they're getting better, but the delay is still not there. So my answer would be, if you want to, if you're building, for example, the technical documentation agent, right, where customers not necessarily looking to get a really sharp answer, so you're not trying to fake that it's a human, you just want to have the accuracy and you need to have a great knowledge base, you can already use the voice. But if you're like doing something that where you want to impress the customers to sell them something, I would still use retail or VAPI or SceneFlow. I once canceled a project because I couldn't build the system properly. It was a lead generation company and qualified their own pipeline. Would you say that the agent with unified memory or an agent would be most efficient for marketing agencies like that? Yeah. So, by the way, I'm not sure if any of you ever booked a call with me through the Quimple, but we have this agent connected. I'm not trying to automate my my pipeline just because I'm getting the prospects, but we are like pre-qualifying them on the like through the booking. So we only work with the projects from like $8,000 in budget. That's why we're not getting a tons of leads every day. But still, this agent is connected on my WhatsApp, and actually, like, when they process, they're like, it's researching the company website and ask the first question to WhatsApp. So yeah, sure. And I think they will appreciate this kind of one, because it's built on the one prompt, it will be more familiar for them to handle everything. The thing is that they have their own CRM, right? So they will have their own pipeline. Now, so this would be kind of the thing, because you would need to understand how to integrate it within their own system, or you can use it as a separate one. You can also, by the way, if you're using already high level, you can just transfer everything from high level to one prompt, or you can just get the one prompt snapshot and import it to the high level. Do we need to sign up with one prompt via school to receive this template and examples? Yes. So it's not like template. You're getting all the solutions. You're getting the solutions. You're getting the course. You're getting, it's everything included. I was just kind of going over this quickly. I hate the word templates. Can this one prompt interface be built on Airtable? How much we can charge for this super agent? Thanks in advance. Now, you can use, yeah, like, interface can be built on Airtable. It's not a problem. So it's, for example, let me like share my screen. It's not the thing about the interface, right? Technically you can, but the problem is in the automations, right? So for example, these are because there's like 6 different solutions that you get access to. So these are, for example, the wait and reply, right? So workflow. This is the response processing. Then you have, where are you going to manage the conversations? So this is the difference between like building some cool thing for YouTube or for like to try, or where are you going to manage all the conversations, right? So how are you going to handle the human handoff when people want to talk to the humans? Because we have inside our solution, right? So we have a separate set of workflows for the human handoff. So it's called transfer to human. So basically, when someone says on the SMS or WhatsApp that they want to talk to a human, it will be, so inside here, as you can see, it will be like it's going to trigger this workflow, and it's going to trigger this webhook. So it's going to send this user, it's going to mark this user within the one prompt as the notification, and it will assign it to the actual person. So again, so yes, you can get the stats and analytics on the ART, but you're not going to be able to manage the whole system and like sell it to the clients. Okay. Great webinar. Okay. Hey, Jing, will you share the resources? So, I mean, I'll share the recording, but so the Voiceflow, I can share, if you want, I can share the Voiceflow template that we built together. It's like very simple, but the master template is only available to the one prompt because this is the main thing that we're doing. Can you explain how to create a website widget that have both voice and text features? Synthflow uses, yes. So you can actually, yeah. So I understand what you're saying. So for example, in the advanced chat, when we're using chat, within the one prompt, you can configure there that you want to have the voice interactions. Please, I do not recommend you to do that. This is a bad user experience. Within my 2 years experience of building these agents, and probably like a year when we started to interact with the voice, never ever actually found the use case to have both text and voice. It's cool to show to the client, never used in the production. So the agent could be set up to engage with customers through email. Is that correct? Yes. So you can set up, and this is what we actually have here, for example. So let me share my screen, because this is one of the things that one of our members sold, like literally, I think today. Okay, so here he was posting something about the email agent. So here. Yeah. So Arnie sold it as the email agent for the real estate firm, right? So basically, this like the same thing as you connect it to the SMS or to the WhatsApp, you can connect to the email. So it should not be a problem. Okay. Now, awesome stuff. Last questions. Is there a way to add LinkedIn to the mix channel communicate? No. I would not recommend you to do the LinkedIn. Plus, no. The one prompt, aka high level, doesn't support the actual direct integration with LinkedIn. The problem I now have that I already use white label version of high level Hexana systems. I already have 2 clients there. Is there a way to paste the resources to my server? Yeah, sure. So I know Hexana. I know the guy who's selling it. Sure. So if you get the one prompt license, you can just get the snapshot, like our snapshot, and import it there. I mean, I would suggest you to like you can entirely transfer the sub accounts, but from the Hexona to one. But again, so if you don't really want to do that, you can easily kind of get everything and transfer it to the Hexona. Is building cold calling sales AI agent possibly through this for outreach? Yes, but the power would be follow-ups. Yeah, so we have the database reactivation agent, right? So let me actually share my screen again. One of the solutions that you also get access to is called database reactivation. This is where we reactivate the prospects, and this is actually doing the cold calling. Again, I would not suggest you to do the cold calling like as a cold calling to the completely new prospects, but here we have multiple workflows already built in, and it is built on top of the VAPI API. So when the prospect is added on the pipeline, we're starting an outreach, we're receiving the call reports, and then we're doing the follow-ups. We receive the reply, and it also has the unified memory so that when the user actually replies you with the SMS, you're gonna get the reply. Okay. Is there a free trial for one prompt? No. So if we summarize, what we learned till now is to create omnichannel, or we need to centralize CRM like high level to connect client dashboard and database. Yeah, correct. So this is the valid point. So if you like picture, because there are multiple tools, so the one prompt is just a suite, and you have like Voiceflow, you have retail, you have VAPI, you have NNN, so everything should go together. This suite has connections to like email, WhatsApp, like website widget, and then you also have the dashboard. So yeah, how much can such an agent be sold for? I was actually sharing it on the at the beginning of the call. Let me like just as a side note why we added the Omni agent in a box. So the price right now is $4,500. The price is purely, it's not some random, it's purely based on what is the average solution we're selling it for. Guys, I think you can kind of trust me because you can go to my YouTube and literally show, like I show the clients, I show the conversations, I discuss pricing with them so you can see for how much we're selling. So now, these solutions usually for us cost somewhere between $8,000 to $15,000. Now, I am different. I understand it. I have the case studies, I have the brand, I have the experience. So if we cut it in half, if you don't want to deal with any technical like difficulties, you can just pay us $4,500. We develop you the pilot, right, based on the one prompt that you can sell for half of the price that we sell it to. Now you will have a leverage. We're not directly competing in the marketplace. There are so many kind of people right now like in businesses are looking for. So the opportunity window is getting smaller because like new people join and join and join. That's why I'm telling everyone that you like, if you're looking to start it, you need to start it. Okay. You don't want to wait for too long. So we're not getting the directly competing. What I'm saying is that if guys like me sell this thing for $9,000, but if we build it for you for $4,500, if you just sell one, you within 1 month you get everything back, and then you just infinitely resell because this is the productized and you can scale pretty easily. Can we buy one prompt? Do we also get any then voiceover? Yeah, like, of course. Like this is the whole point. You get everything. So you get the retail workflows, NNN workflows. You have the Airtable for the billing. You have the voice. You have everything. Can you share the example of successful B2B chatbot implementation in their ROI? Are the biggest challenge that you're seeing is scaling the company? Yeah, sure. So, good question. I'm again, I think you're not kind of with on my YouTube yet, so or maybe you're not following all the videos. So here, for example, I have been sharing where is it here, like no, where is it? Yeah, it's this. So the $13,000 AI sales rep for a French startup. There, I literally mentioned the stats and the conversions, how it helped them, what conversions they used to have without this and with this, and how much money it made them. So you can like, and like I share the return on investment. Unlimited client sub accounts deal. Is there a due time that is gonna end one? Yeah, I mean, it's literally once this workshop is ended, 24 hours, and then it's done. And then like, I mean, you can get the unlimited clients, you would just pay $200. So because you have usually for the $79, we give you access to 2 sub accounts. But again, so for 24 hours, if you purchase it, you'll have unlimited ones. I am brand new to AI. Will one prompt work for me? Yes. So because this is not a template, right? So this is like, I'm not selling you the template. I'm not trying to sell you or just the agent. There's like educational materials. There's like a separate course. Okay. That's why, I mean, and plus you have the support, you have direct reach to me, you have direct reach to my developers. So you can literally go step by step trying to learn it yourself. Any problem integrating Telegram? Now, with the Telegram, it's kind of another story. I don't want to talk about it yet. How did you overcome the English language barrier? Yeah, so if I didn't start to record earlier at the very beginning of my journey of like starting an agency, just because I was kind of not comfortable with my English, even though it was pretty good. It was like very similar to now, maybe like 30% worse. It was okay. I was studying in the US. I was like playing high, but like I guess just start. Could you share some tips for people like me who don't have a job and the financial resources to pay for some AI? If we can do this something for free plans, yeah, man. So the tip: go find a job, save some money, and don't invest into the one prompt. Start trying to building something for free for the clients and spend money on reaching out to them trying to sell. I'm sorry, but with literally $0, I do not believe that it's gonna work. This is not how I started. I was privileged to have some money to invest. So I mean, but yeah. Can you list all work that can be done with the voice agents? Like, can you mention the agents calling after filling out the form? I mean, see, the thing is that there is like literally tons of use cases and problems that can be solved. That's why we're providing you the suite of different solutions that you can build on. And then if you, for example, have a potential client, if you're not sure, you can reach out to me directly within the school or within our private group chat on WhatsApp, and I'll help you to figure this out. When you say advanced chat widget with chat dash, this means you are deploying the omnichannel using the chat dash widget building. Correct. Yeah. So it's just like white label version of chat dash, so that you don't need to pay $90 to the chat dash. It's like it's included. Can the clients view the transaction from their text-based? Yeah, of course. Like there's I already showed you. There's like an actual dashboard and where you Unibox where you manage everything. And I understand there is no problem using Spanish language instead. Yeah, of course. Because everything is powered. So even if the Voiceflow or Retail or VAPI or anything, so everything is powered by ChatGPT or Claude. So as long as this model support your language, you should not have a problem. And obviously Spanish is supported. It's the most popular language in the world, right? No. Is it? Guys, tell me, is it Spanish? Probably not. Chinese, probably the most popular. Where is the final deployment hosted? On the voice. So again, so the agent hosted on the Voiceflow, the one prompt is hosted on the one prompt in the cloud, and the retail on the retail. So it's not self-hosted. Hey Gene, I have already subscribed, but an answer about Telegram issue would be appreciated. Yeah, sure. So but can you post please on school, so we'll help you to figure this out if you're subscribed. Anyways, guys, so it's 1 hour 40 minutes. That was a pretty long one. I was trying to make it short, but I guess I failed. Thanks, 37 people for sticking till the end. I hope it was a pretty informative Sunday evening for you guys.